Who died?
Ata Kandó, photographer. You're probably expecting a selfie from a photographer. Here you go. Yeah, I'm sorry. If an artist does it, it's called a self-portrait, okay? Just so you know. Let's begin our story in the middle. In 1956, Ata Kandó decided to go to the Austro-Hungarian border and photograph the nearly 200,000 refugees running away from the Hungarian Revolution. Or more exactly, running away from Soviet tanks coming to crush the Hungarian Revolution. Most of the pictures are of children. The refugee camps are full of children sent away by their parents to be safe with strangers. This is her first published book, and it will raise $250,000 to aid the Hungarian refugees. Kind of ironic that Hungary is against taking in refugees right now. It's like a whole nation is suffering from amnesia. A year later, she published another book called Dream in the Forest. The pictures were shot in the Alps, and they feature her 3 children. They're quite dreamy, aren't they? You can see her playing with light. She manages to take beautiful pictures in low light settings. This is her best known work, but it wasn't a success. Bookstores considered some of her pictures too erotic and refused to sell it. Failing with these artistic photos, she went back to a career of fashion photography. In 1961, she is invited to visit Caracas, and once there, she goes on an adventure and takes pictures of the Amazonian jungle and its indigenous people. In 1965, she returns to South America, this time in Peru. The pictures she takes in South America are featured in National Geographic, and some are bought by the British Museum. In 1970, a collection of these are published in a book called A Hold Verbold. A rough translation of that would be Blood of the Moon. She continued to take pictures, but quite a lot of time passed before her works began to be appreciated. In 2003, she is able to publish the sequel to Dream in a Forest, a book called Calypso and Nausicaa. This book came out 48 years after she took the pictures. This just goes to prove that you should live long enough for people to agree that you're awesome. Okay, it's time for a summary. She was born in Austria-Hungary in 1913. She got married at 18. She moved to Paris with her husband, where they started a photo studio. She specialized in taking pictures of children. Got deported back to Hungary when the Germans invaded. Had 3 children. And saved 14 Jews, hiding them in her home during the Holocaust. After the war, she moved back to Paris, but got separated from her husband as the Iron Curtain fell. She fell in love and remarried a Dutch photographer, but things didn't work out and she got divorced. This, by the way, is where our story began. She set out to photograph the Hungarian refugees. She became an accomplished fashion photographer and traveled to the Amazon, but you know all that now. She found recognition late in her life and died 3 days before her 104th birthday. That was her life. What is yours going to be? Interested in more dead people? How about J.P. Donlevy, novelist and playwright. His best-known work is the novel The Ginger Man, which was initially banned for obscenity, so it must be good. Harry Dean Stanton, an actor with over 200 credited movies. Which one should you see? See the last one. It's called Lucky.